Let me turn to Zella Roberts now, who is from North Carolina and has worked at a car hop at Sonic Drive-In, which is owned by another private equity firm named Roark Capital. And over the last few years, Roark has built a food service empire and now owns many chains such as Dunkin' Donuts, Arby's, Jimmy John's, Hardee's, Carl J's, and Buffalo Wild Wings. So they're expanding rapidly. They are the employers essentially of hundreds of thousands of workers. In fact, almost 1 million under their companies and franchises. So Zella, we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Rosemary. As Rosemary was saying, my name is Zella. I live in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm currently working at Eastwood Pottery. I worked at Sonic as a car hop while I was finishing up my social work degree at Warren Wilson College. I spent 8 months at Sonic between October 2020 through May 2021 during the height of the pandemic. While I was at Sonic, I worked most of my shifts as a car hop. My job was basically to run out orders and collect payment for customers. But as I gained more experience, I was expected to take orders over the headphones, which is a separate position known as switchboard operator. I received no additional payment for working the switchboard, and car hops like me were actually paid a tipped wage of $5 an hour versus the $9 an hour that switchboard operators start at. However, the payment system did not allow customers to leave tips when paying with a credit or debit card. Due to this oversight, most customers don't realize that they need to tip their car hop. The entire time that I worked at Sonic, we were exposed to hundreds of unmasked customers a day because Sonic didn't require that guests follow any COVID protocol at all. Sonic is part of Inspire Brands, which is owned by an Atlanta-based private equity company called Roark Capital. Roark is known for having among the highest percentage of full-time employees on public assistance. Understanding the company, who owns the company that I worked for, was very useful information in organizing my fellow workers to address COVID-19 policy, issues impacting tipped workers, and rampant wage theft. Understanding private equity firms as employers helped me to map power of my workplace and identify who had the authority to honor worker demands. I knew that the way that I was being treated at Sonic was unacceptable, but I wasn't sure how to get started. So I reached out to my local Restaurant Opportunity Center United chapter, and the folks at Roark coached me through some organizing techniques and helped me to create a petition with the organization Coworker, urging Sonic Corporate to upgrade tipping software, introduce a COVID policy for guests. The petition took off overnight and has received over 8,000 signatures from Sonic workers and supporters. In late January, Sonic updated their app software to allow customers to tips via the Sonic app. Although this is a step in the right direction, this only makes up a small percentage of orders placed on a card. Through Coworker, I was put in touch with Private Equity Stakeholder Project, and I learned that Sonic was actually owned by a private equity firm, Roark Capital. The staff at PASS provided me with a comprehensive report on Roark, and I learned that the best way to get Roark's attention was through their investors. So I started sharing my story during public comment at pension fund meetings. As a first-generation college student, I have long struggled with imposter syndrome, and during my first investor meeting, these feelings were really difficult to ignore. But as I got more practice, I learned how to manage my performance anxiety. It felt like preparing for a presentation, so I treated it like I would any other project. I started by preparing an outline of the points I wanted to cover and practice in my mirror until I felt fluent. I spoke at several pension funds, including Los Angeles City Employees Retirement Systems, New Jersey State Investment Council, Arizona State Retirement Systems, and the Oregon Investment Council. And I followed up with these boards several times. The Sonic campaign has also received ongoing press coverage due to the labor shortage. I've worked with publications such as the Wall Street Journal, the American Prospect, and most recently, NBC News. Journalist Gretchen Morgensen published a brave article exposing the connection between private equity ownership and lower wages. CEO of Sonic, Claudia San Pedro, was recently appointed to the board of trustees at Smith College, so I collaborated with campus activists to launch an email writing campaign asking that San Pedro respond to worker demands or step down from her role at Smith College. Sonic has been responsive to worker demands to an extent. However, when asked about card tipping in the stalls, Sonic's official Twitter can be quoted saying, "We are currently working on tipping compatibility within our interactive menu. Stay tuned," as far back as 2018. We've gotten impatient and we won't stop the fight until the software has been updated once and for all. If you'd like to support a cause, please share a petition with folks in your network. Private equity ownership can be really confusing, and it's often difficult for workers to know who to bring their issues to. Understanding private equity can help form strong worker coalitions. After learning more about Roark Capital throughout my work with PES, I reached out to other Inspire brand workers. I found that there were active campaigns on Coworker run by people at Dunkin' Donuts and Jimmy John's, so we were able to use each other's mail lists to reach a wider base. I found it really eye-opening to learn about the level of lobbying power that private equity firms have on our political landscape. For example, Roark Capital played a key role in derailing legislation raising the minimum wage. A $15 minimum wage would have a profound impact on my monthly budget. Suddenly, I'd be able to access healthcare, pay off my student loans, and save money for an emergency. None of these things are very luxurious. They're just necessities that low-wage workers are too often deprived of. It is truly evil how Roark has used their influence to undercut policy that would help so many people simply make ends meet. Their business model seems to be dependent on paying their hard-working staff poverty wages. Thanks, y'all.
Wow, thank you so much, Zella. That's an amazing story, and you're brave. That's all I can say. You're brave, and thank you for really stepping up. And I'm sure you feel much stronger and powerful yourself now that you've been through all of this. I just want to say that you're absolutely right. We have tracked the lobbying dollars that private equity firms have put into Congress, but it's also true that workers have very large lobbying power. And also, I think you're going before pension funds and telling them what is really going on is really powerful and effective. So I hope that you and others continue to do that. They are vulnerable. They feel bad when they hear how the pension funds are being spent.